What's up, everybody? This is the VSM Real Estate Podcast, here to introduce to you massive players in the Twin Cities real estate market. This is your host, Andre Anderson, joined today by Jerrad Havins with Credilife.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it's good that you're here. I know we talked about bringing you on for a couple weeks, and whatnot, like you kind of got sick, and then life happened and all this kind of stuff. So it's really a pleasure for you to finally be here. You came into VSM probably 2 or 3 months ago to do kind of just a little spiel on introducing your company, and I feel like you really laid down a lot of credit knowledge on everybody, and it was just fascinating. So for some of our viewers that you maybe don't know exactly who you are or what your company does, could you kind of introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure, yeah, it sounds great. So Jerrad Havins, CEO and co-founder of Credilife. We're based out of Burnsville, Minnesota, but we are a nationwide company. We have a mantra in our office, #changing lives, and we firmly believe it. I mean, everyone in our office full of energy, just like this team here too. I mean, just a ton of energy, helping a ton of people. And we always like to, even though credit repair is a hot word, we a lot of times shy away from that. We say we help people take back their buying power. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. What we're doing in our approach of helping people with credit repair is a tool, but on top of that, helping people strategically build their credit, help improve their credit profile for lending, and then also debt management. And when you put those three together, that's why we're so successful for our clients in helping them get to their goals. So it really is a powerful thing. We're helping a ton of people. Our approach is so different compared to other companies nationwide. I think that's why we're growing so fast, and it's so fun. We got a bell in our office that we ring when our clients are hitting their goal and stuff. I mean, it's just the energy and the vibe is really strong. So that's what we do every single day.
That's awesome. And I know just before the cameras were rolling, it sounded like your team was having really great success the past couple weeks. So that bell's probably been ringing. It
really has been. Yeah, it's been super exciting, and we're constantly trying to figure out how to bring more value to our clients and our Facebook group members and stuff like that. And we made some tweaks and some offerings that we were able to do by streamlining some processes, and the response has just been absolutely amazing. The amount of people reaching out saying, "Hey, we want help. Been following Credilife for a year now, and with what you're doing now, we feel like we can get in, and it's been amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the tricky part is for most people is they have no idea what the heck the credit is, just such a monster to them, right?
It is.
And seeking help, they might feel embarrassed. Well, man, I'm an adult, or I feel like I should know this. I'm 40 years old or whatever, or there's maybe something that happened, and people are very, very kind of cloistered with their financial failures, right? So they have to kind of peel back layers and all that kind of stuff. Do you see that with
definitely
a lot of clients and whatnot?
Definitely. It's the one thing I always like to talk about with people is that we don't judge. You know what I mean? But I totally get it on the other side. When you've gone through an issue in your past, maybe it's a divorce, medical. Yeah. It could have been as simple as I went to college, took out a ton of debt, had no idea what I was doing, and now I'm an adult, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a ton of student loan debt. I have credit cards maxed out. I have some collections I didn't take care of. Anywhere in between, we help people, and so it's important to know that, for us, it's almost like, hey, we're the doctor, and you're sick, and we're going to fix you. That's all it comes down to. But a lot of it is coaching, motivating, and just helping people take that step, because what you brought up before is very true. It's it can be hindering. People think about it like this. There are people right now all the time, daily, that when they're going through Target or Kohl's or whatever store, and they're like, hey, would you like to apply for the Target credit card here for 5% off? And they almost feel shame, they're anxiety, because they know their credit's not where it needs to be, right? And it's to me, it's those are the people I want to help. You know what I mean? It's there's so many options. We can help all them, from that scenario up into applying and being approved for a mortgage, getting out of renting, you have a baby on the way type of scenario, and you're getting into your own home.
Yeah, for sure. And usually at the end of the day, it seems like for most of your customers, at least from what you've described earlier in personal conversations and whatnot, is that it's usually to get to that end result of buying a home or, just credit. all facets of life is super important. But as you're looking to buy a home, absolutely, it's essential.
Huge.
So
yep.
Yeah, definitely. So could you kind of talk a little bit? I know you said you're kind of nationwide and whatnot. I know that you're headquartered pretty much here in Minnesota.
Yep.
And then you're doing some things in Florida and maybe some other places, correct?
Yeah. So our main HQ office is in Burnsville, Minnesota, but we also have some remote locations in Florida, and Illinois, Colorado, and Oregon. And so with those remote locations, we have people, and a lot of what we do over the phone. Even if someone wants to over video, screen share and things like that, just depends on, their comfortability and tech savviness and things like that. But we essentially operate in every state outside of just Georgia right now. Is the only state that we don't operate in. We can help people with our Free Credit Repair Advice group. That's why we created it. It's a group on Facebook. We have over 60,000 active members right now. We help a ton of people. And we created that as an outlet for maybe someone that's looking to do it themselves type scenario. Maybe it's someone that may not have the financial means quite yet to invest into a program like ours. We still wanted to bring value to everyone, and that's a big one. And with that group, we actually help a ton of people in Georgia, at least in that respect, as much as we can, outside of what we're able to do directly for our clients. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's really fun to see too. At this point, it's like daily, which I love. Every single day, we have people posting in our group with them in front of their home and just talking about, I can't believe I made it here. I'm so excited. Thank you, Credilife. Thank you, Free Credit Repair Advice Group. We had no idea this was possible until we started following your guidance, and that's what we're looking for. You know what I mean? It really makes this career path so rewarding. Because you're legitimately helping people. Yeah. There is no downside to this. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
Hashtag changing lives, right?
It really is. It really is.
It really is, yeah. I mean, it's just a bunch of feel goods. And at the end of the day, of course, expanding business, making money is awesome. But, really getting that fulfillment and your impact on others and actually, changing lives, that's what definitely would keep you going. You know what I mean? Like forever. So that's just excellent to hear. Can you kind of give a little bit of background on how you started how you started Credilife, or maybe what you were doing before, what through life, how you kind of started saying, well, this is what I want. This is the slice. This is the slice of pie in the world that I want to just dominate.
It's a unique story, and it's a fun one. I'll make it as quick as possible, but. Growing up, I didn't know my biological father.
Okay.
And so when I turned 18, I had decided to move to Texas with one of my best friends to get into a auto detailing business. And literally the very first day that I moved there, I got a call, and it was my father out in California.
Oh, my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah.
And so
that's insane.
It was, needless to say, pretty crazy, right? And so I ended up going out there, and he happened to be a broker in real estate in Northern California in the Bay Area. And I ended up meeting like this whole side of my family that I didn't know my whole life, and it was really cool. And I ended up moving out there, just and just to obviously get to know my family. But at that time, because he was a broker in real estate, at that time, in California, I don't think it's that way anymore. But when you obtained your real estate license, you were able to practice both real estate and mortgage.
Oh, wow.
With one license.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so,
that's highly
bad
right
not
now.
like that anymore, but this is like back in the day stuff. And so at the brokerage, they did both mortgage and real estate. And some people did better than others, right? Some people liked the mortgage side of things, and some people liked the real estate side. And so you would see naturally people in the office that did certain things more than the other.
Yep.
Personally, I ended up working with a gentleman, Jason Peterson. He was one of the top guys there, and he specialized more in mortgage. And he hired me on as an assistant. And that's where I got my first start in the mortgage real estate industry. I was like 18 years old, personal assistant, and I ended up getting my notary. I would do like loan document signing and stuff. I was learning that side of things, and ended up getting my real estate license and all that at a young age. That was also during the time at the pinnacle, and then also at the drop of the economy, which got hit crazy hard there because a lot of those banks were located there. And for me at that time, it didn't impact me financially as much as others because I didn't have like multiple homes and things like that. I was still very young. And I just ended up moving down to Southern California and ended up getting into advertising, which I loved, the marketing side, the advertising side, the networking side. I've always liked that a lot. And, with that, I ended up having a daughter, and I came back to Minnesota. And so when I came back to Minnesota, I was like, well, what am I going to do? You know, it's like I love being here. My family's here. I like raising my daughter here better than I would have Southern California. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I was trying to do the other job remotely, and at that time I wasn't at a mindset yet to do that effectively. I needed to go to an office, and randomly started putting my information out there, and I got in touch with a gentleman that owned a credit repair business in Minnesota. And I reached out and I was like, hey, you know, I'm here. This is what I've done. I have history in mortgage and real estate and marketing, and I'm really trying to find a good fit for myself here. Ended up going in and got hired, and it was great. A lot of self-learning. There really is no courses that you can take. All Regs did put out a FICO certification course, which I did take. I'm FICO certified, but there actually was low participation to the point that they got rid of the course.
Really? Oh,
I mean, think about that. Credit's like one of the most important things.
Yeah. And
they wouldn't get enough people enrolling into the class to learn about FICO.
That's insane.
And so it's gone now.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. But ended up doing that. And once I got into credit repair, I started to realize, I was like, this is really fun. I mean, I'm like helping a ton of people here. You know, you think about it, and I know a lot of times when someone hasn't gone through credit issues, they may not understand, especially in Minnesota when a lot of people are more conservative. You know, it's a little bit different. You know, a lot of times there are people that don't understand, well, how do you not, well, just pay your bills. What are you talking about, right? There's not enough understanding around it. But until you've gone through either a hardship or you've gone through what I just call an event in your life, once that happens and it negatively impacts your credit, it is extremely difficult to get back into good standing. And during that time, you end up spending a lot more on everything. You spend more on your insurance premium. You're spending more on your interest on any loans. You know, especially auto just absolutely rips you in interest rate. Wow. The auto insurance premium on that. I mean, all sorts of things. Even trying to rent. I mean, a lot of times you have to put a bigger down payment down, whatever it is, due to your credit score. And so helping people get out of that. You know, people are working. I mean, these are their families are working hard. I mean, these are good people. And it's like to help them get out of this where they're at in their life and level up, so to speak, and all of a sudden having this door open up for them again, this opportunity. I mean, I just literally fell in love with it. And so that's what I was doing there. I ended up being the top advisor for a while. And what happened was, a lot of time, you know, other companies have the same methodology, which isn't wrong, but it's just they end up focusing on just the repair process. So for anyone that's listening, that's going through and challenging negative information on your credit report to potentially repair and remove it permanently off your report you're repairing in the past. And so it's very effective, and it's a big part of what we do, but that is not the actual solution. And so all the times, you know, clients are reaching out, hey, I see I had a bunch of things removed and repaired. What does that mean for me? When can I move forward with the mortgage? How, you know, what should I be doing? I started to pick up on that, and I realized I was like, we are missing so much more to the pie here. And so I ended up getting in touch with my business partner, Brian Del Terzo, and I left that company, and we started Credilife. And that's where we came up with our holistic model of credit repair, credit building, debt management, and with that coaching with all of our clients. And ever since then, I mean, it's a lot of adapting, you know, figuring out what's working, what's not, communication styles that work better for clients, what doesn't. I mean, literally, we've been going through this whole thing now for years, and we're at a point now where we really have a super solid solution to help people, and we've just been blowing up ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Long story, sorry, but that's
No, it's good stuff. No, we want to hear that. We want to hear that. You know, so it seems like the difference between a lot of credit repair companies and then Credilife is that there's that back end support to actually, like, not only kind of cull the negative impact on the credit score, all those items, but actually help improve and set you up for the path, you know, in the future to buy the home, to increase your credit score and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and
it really comes down to, if you think about it like this is why I talk about buying power. When you repair the past, don't get me wrong, that's a positive. Like, if you have some collections, late payments, whatever it is, to repair that is very important. You're lessening that weight, so to speak, like weighing you down, right? But if you don't do the proactive steps of building credit, which is like your future buying power, your scores could still stay low. I mean, this happens all the time.
Moving nowhere. Yeah.
Exactly. So like in a client's mind who might work with another company, they're seeing like, things get removed off the report, and that's exciting, right? And they're like, oh my goodness, I must be getting close to my goal. They go and apply for a mortgage, and they're still being denied due to credit, and they're like, what in the world is going on? Well, a big part of it is that. It's because it's just math. If you think about it, if I have 100 items on my report, and 70 of them are negative, but then I go through and I remove a chunk, and even though the amount of items in total are less, but if the majority is still negative, scores are still low.
Right.
That's how it works. And so that's why you have to build on the positive. When you build on the positive, now you're building all this positive data. You're offsetting the negative. And if you repair and lessen the amount of negative, now you've really opened up the opportunity to really boost up your scores. And so that's what we do. And we're doing that. And also just an overall financial wellness understanding of financial disciplines, introduction to budgeting, student loan. We help a ton of people with student loans, how to repay their student loans, what are the different programs available for federal, for private. Everything being done in a way to put them in the best position financially, but then once again to move forward with their major lending goals. A lot of times, once again, is mortgage, like all the time. I'd say 90% of people that work with us want to be approved for a mortgage.
Wow.
So it's a very unique, methodology. It's a proven model. We're just absolutely, crushing it in the most positive way. And for anyone that doesn't know, it's like, they if they don't know the difference, they're not going to know. And that's why it's important for us. We're constantly trying to get this information out there so people can get an understanding, and at least they can be proactive and make an informed decision if they decide they want to hire someone.
Right.
That way they have a better chance of getting to their goal.
Yeah, that makes tons of sense. You kind of spoke on before that, you have a lot of different customers kind of call in, and they have the wide variety of problems and whatnot. Sometimes there's people that want to do it a little more do-it-yourself with, the Facebook group and whatnot, but there are a lot of people that really genuinely need help or want to learn more and whatnot. What's maybe some items of value? I know that, we're starting kind of like a newsletter thing for the tenants at VSM here, and we'll be able to provide a lot of value for like good information and whatnot. What are some key things that you were kind of speaking before? I know you'd spoken a lot on student loan debt when you were here at VSM for the meeting. But maybe could you touch on that, or some things that could help people build their credit and whatnot?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I can break that up. So like if we start with student loans, for anyone that's listening, if you have student loans, just understand that there are a lot of different federal repayment plans available, but not all are created equal. And so like a lot of times what happens with people when they're going through some financial struggles, it could have been someone that just recently graduated, they've gone through the grace period, they get their first bill and they're like, oh my goodness, I can't afford this, right? You have that one. Or you have someone that, they've been working and they've been putting loan into forbearance. I bring this one up a lot because what a lot of people don't realize is that when you get out of your grace period, and if at any point you put your student loans into a voluntary forbearance, it enacts the way that these loans work. It's called compounding interest, and so this is very important to know. Not very many loans are like this or even allowed, but federal loans are like this. Well, if you place your loan into forbearance, literally every single payment, it's actually daily, but it's easier to look at it as monthly. Is a portion of that payment was supposed to go towards interest. A lot of it's front-loaded in the beginning of your loan. So a significant portion is supposed to go towards interest. Well, they take that and they compound it on itself on the next one. So now, let's say it's 70, it's 140. Now it's going up. It compounds. And so, like, a lot of times what happens is people over time, when they're, like, wanting to address their student loans, they're like, why is my payment? I didn't take out this much. Well, it's because it's been compounding interest. We haven't been in repayment. Loan balance is just going up for no reason. You're just having to pay more now. And so it's so important to address it. You want to get into a repayment ideally. And I understand there might be times where there might be a medical thing, and there's options for that. There's circumstances where it might make sense to place in a forbearance or deferment, whatever it is. But the most time, it's someone not understanding what their options are, so therefore they immediately put in a forbearance because it's very easy. In fact, a lot of servicers put that on consumers like right away. Wow. Oh, okay, you want to do forbearance? And you're thinking, oh, booyah, I don't have to pay anything? Great. And so they don't know the repercussions of that,
Interest. Yeah.
Yes. And what's really cool, though, is, we help a ton of people, once again, with student loans. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're looking at, what's the current status, what's your financial situation, and what are your goals? And then based on that information, we can figure out, okay, well, here are the different repayment plans available. Maybe it's an income-driven repayment option. Maybe it's like extending the term out to a payment that you can afford, but maybe you know over time, based on your career path, you can make more money in the future.
And then pay more down.
Exactly. You know, it's just more of that planning. I would say, though, what happens a lot, very similar to forbearance, that I think a lot of people need to understand, is that the term income-driven repayment is confused with income-based repayment.
Mm-hmm. So what's the difference? Yeah.
Well, income-based is an actual plan. There's 5 different income-driven repayment types. Income-based is one of them. So what happens is a lot of times a servicer, like let's say you're someone that you're wanting to address your student loans, you know, a lot common sense, you'd say, well, I guess I should call them, right? I'm going to give them a call, figure out what I can do. Well, what they'll do is they'll kind of go through a questionnaire over the phone and be like, well, you know, what's your income? What are your dependents? You know, they're going through a questionnaire based on the initial qualifications of different repayment options. Well, if they can see that they can place you into an income-driven repayment option, a lot of times they're going to immediately go for income-based. The reason being is that you actually end up paying more in that than you would what's called pay-as-you-earn. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference. When I was doing the math based on the average student loan debt and the average income, the difference between a pay-as-you-earn to income-based could easily be anywhere from $50 to $300 a month.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
and
it's huge for
it's
people.
Based on your income and everything. But what it is they go off what's called discretionary income. And so pay-as-you-earn is 10% of your discretionary income. Income-based is 15%. But when you do the math on certain things, that 5% difference could mean a lot of money per month.
Wow.
And so these are things that you want to be able to go through and navigate through. We help people do it every single day, all the time. That way, at least you know, as a consumer, as a person, that you're in the best repayment plan. You know, based on your financial situation and your goals and your options. You know, that I think that's a huge one. Things that people could do today on their own to build and improve their credit, there's really 2 things that I feel very comfortable giving out to everyone. One is on a debt management side. And so if you have any credit cards or lines of credit, so if you have like a Capital One credit card, if you have like a, Amazon store card or whatever, maybe multiple, 30% of your credit score is solely based on the management of revolving accounts. It's huge. 30% is a third of the pie. And so you have to think about it like this. Like, anytime that you apply for something, you're essentially wanting more, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I want this credit card. I want this mortgage. I want this auto loan. I want this money is what it comes down to. And so lenders want to make sure that they're evaluating risk and making lending decisions based off risk, whether it be a yes and here's your interest rate because you're less risk, or no, you're too high of a risk, or anywhere in between. And so the revolving debt is actually very powerful because it's a third of the pie, and you can really control that for the most part. You have a lot of power of that. That's why I like it. And so the true best ratio to improve credit scores the most, or put yourself in the best position possible to improve credit scores, is to have a balance of 1% to 3% on each of those credit cards.
Oh, wow.
Which is really low. Mm-hmm. I mean, most people, they hear that, they're like, what? 1 to 3, that's like nothing.
Yeah, buying a candy bar, or a couple candy bars, or, depending on the credit or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And what happens is a lot of times when people hear that, they think, oh, so I should use my credit card, and I'll pay it down to 1% to 3%. That's also wrong. What it is when you receive your billing statement in the mail or your email, paperless, paper, however you do it, the information on that bill is what was already reported to the credit bureaus and how it shows up on your report. Mm-hmm. So the balance on that bill is what you want to reflect the 1% to 3% balance to limit.
Oh, okay.
So literally, to make it very simple, if you had a $1,000 limit, you only want to spend like $10 to $30 on that. Oh, wow. And then that's it. You stop. And that's it.
Oh, for the entire month?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's what you want to do is you just want to, and that's when you're wanting to improve credit scores the most for a specific reason, right? You don't have to live your life like this all the time. Just as long as you don't view credit as an extension of your income, you don't want to do that. But, credit cards, there's a lot of, rewards and miles, and there's a lot of perks. Yep. So you can strategically use that for a reason. But if you want to be approved for a mortgage, let's say in the next 3, 6, 9 months, 12 months, I would immediately start managing my credit. I'd be paying down my credit cards, and I'd be maintaining a 1% to 3% balance.
On each credit line.
And each credit line. Wow. And you'll be absolutely amazed what that does for your credit scores.
Oh, that's insanely valuable. Yeah, I've heard a little bit about when you maybe want to carry a 1% balance or something like that, but to go into that detail and really paint the picture for everybody, I think is going to be extremely helpful. So
yeah, it should be.
That's awesome.
It's very helpful. And on a credit building side, this is once again, if you're wanting to put yourself in a position for lending, that could be other credit cards, that could be auto, that could be mortgage, whatever it is. Ideally, in the revolving area, you'd want 3 to 5 active revolving accounts. So 3 to 5 credit cards, essentially. The reason why I bring that up is you have people that can be on the polar opposites of that. You have some people that don't believe in credit. They don't even have a credit card. They're like missing out on all this points. I mean, they are. It's just they're missing out on so much opportunity. And then you have people that don't understand that, and they're basically taking every offer they get, and all of a sudden they have like 18 credit cards,
which is
store
insane,
cards,
but
and everything.
Yeah.
And that can put you at a higher risk because you're putting yourself in a spot where you have a lot there to leverage, and if you're over leveraged on any, well, that just shows that you may not have the ability to manage what you have now, so therefore your risk is higher, scores go down, banks say no or yes, but now I'm going to charge you more for this.
Right, yeah.
So it's all about playing the game. You know what I mean? You want to put yourself in the best picture, the best light, to have the highest score, show the less amount of risk, so you can get the loan at the best interest rates and fees. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, definitely valuable. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with everybody.
Yeah,
it's definitely
I get
great.
into it.
Yeah, exactly. Very passionate. That's awesome. So I know that we've talked a little bit about collaborating and everything. So what's kind of the future for what you want to do with Credilife and how you want to build it? Do you actually want to get into Georgia, or are the peaches maybe rotten over there, something like that?
Well, you know what it is in Georgia, and I'm totally okay bringing this up. For whatever reason, Georgia does not like credit repair companies.
Oh, really? Huh. Interesting.
They're very strict about it. They don't want anyone, I believe, out of the state operating in there. They want like a brick and mortar location, and I'm almost certain they'd ideally want you partnered or be an attorney.
Oh, wow.
And so they're just very strict. It doesn't make sense, obviously, on a legal side to even operate in there. That's a big reason why we have a lot of DIY things available for really everyone. But we definitely do that as well because there's a lot of people in Georgia that actually need our help, and so we wanted to make sure we did something that could at least give them some real guidance. Right. So that's the reason why on the Georgia side. But plans for Credilife is, I have a big vision. And I definitely plan on Credilife being like the staple when it comes to financial wellness. Like, I don't necessarily like to, and I understand I'm not mad about it, but like people think, credit repair immediately, which is fine. But I really want people to look at Credilife as the financial wellness solution. When it comes to credit, financial wellness, and lending. The first go-to. That's going to be very important. I want to continue to do that because it's so important, as we talked about, not just on the lending. We talked about insurance. It's a big role in insurance. On the mortgage insurance, it's huge. Your credit score plays a role in that premium. Employment is a big one. A lot of employers pull credit. If you don't have your credit in a good position, you may lose opportunity on additional income or better employment opportunities. I mean, that to me is huge. There's a lot of different things. If you're in the Army or if you're serving, they're pulling credit. And if you want to advance in ranking, I mean, it's a very important tool that you need to have in a good spot. And the reality is, there's a lot of misinformation out there, a ton. And on top of that, it's not taught. So it really puts people in a bad spot. It puts them at a disadvantage. So that's the reason why I think it's so important for me that we continue to grow and just give away the farm, so to speak. I'm okay with it because I know that the more I can give out there that's the right information that people can actually take and apply to their situation and see the positive impact, if they wanted to invest in themselves for professional guidance, they're going to do it. Right. If they're not in a position, maybe they're just on a fixed income or whatever it is, at least we can still provide them something to put them in a better position. I want to serve the masses in that way. But obviously we're a company, so we got to make sure we do it in the right way. But to me, I think what we're doing is perfect because we can literally appeal to everyone, and we can still be successful, and we can still bring in an income and help a ton of people while we're doing it. I think I'm never shy to bring that up because I think it's important. Like if you're successful by doing something good for the world, I mean, that's, to me, if you're solving problems, that's huge. You know?
For sure. I mean, you have to stay alive. It's all about sustainability. I mean, how could you bring the solution to the masses if you can't stay alive. For,
exactly.
As a company. For, so yeah, definitely 100%. That's fantastic. Yeah, definitely awesome. So I'd just probably keep expanding, going throughout the U.S. And it is really interesting to see how entrenched credit is, in every facet of your life. Yeah, I actually didn't know about like the military would pull your credit and, for rankings, but it makes sense in the capacity of, having it be a job and whatnot. So, but yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything else that you think is maybe valuable to bring to our audience, or, that you kind of already haven't spoken about?
When it comes to your audience, when it comes to anyone, I love working with VSM. You guys are great. If there's anyone within your audience that has any questions that they want to talk to us, you can just go to our website. It's yourcreditlife.com. A lot of great information on there. If you're on Facebook and you want to join our group, it's free. It's a closed group, so you have to request to join, but it's free to join, and it's just called Free Credit Repair Advice. And if you search that, you'll find us. We're a little over 60,000 members. And stop in, say hello. If you're local, we even have some really cool. We do a lot of seminars and webinars, and so, which I'd love to do with you guys as well. We've talked about stuff like that.
100%.
And so, anything that we can do to give back, that's why I like working with VSM so much. Is you have the same mindset for that, in helping people. And I would just say, if you have any questions, just reach out.
Perfect. Where can they reach out to you?
Our website would be one, or if they just want to call our office, it's 612-444-3411 is the best line, the local line. It's 612-444-3411.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.